For over 4,500 years, the pyramids of Egypt have stood as silent giants in the desert sands, monuments of stone, carved from the sweat of thousands, aligned with the stars and wrapped in mystery. They're not just tombs, they are time machines taking us back to the dawn of civilization, to the land of pharaohs, gods, and eternal life. Tonight, we journey into the history of the pyramids, the kings who built them, the legends that surround them, and the secrets still waiting to be uncovered. Long before the pyramids were built, Egypt was a land shaped by one thing: the Nile River. Every year, the Nile would flood, spreading rich black soil across its banks. This miracle turned desert into farmland and farmland into civilization. By around 3100 BCE, small farming villages united under one ruler, the Pharaoh. The age of the kings had begun. The Pharaoh and the afterlife. To the Egyptians, the Pharaoh was more than a man. He was a living god, chosen by the sun god Ra, destined to rule both earth and the afterlife. Life on earth was only a chapter. Death was the beginning of eternity. And eternity required preparation. To live forever, the pharaoh needed a tomb that would protect his body, his treasures, and his soul. At first, kings were buried in simple mud brick tombs called mastabas. But one pharaoh wanted something greater, something the world had never seen: the Step Pyramid of Djoser. Around 2650 BCE, during Egypt's third dynasty, Pharaoh Djoser changed history. He called upon his genius architect, Imhotep, a man so brilliant that later generations would worship him as a god of wisdom. Imhotep had a vision. Instead of one mastaba, why not stack them, one on top of the other? Stone instead of mud brick, massive instead of modest. The result was the Step Pyramid of Saqqara, the very first pyramid in history. Rising nearly 200 feet into the sky, it was the tallest structure on Earth at the time. Beneath it lay a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers, filled with offerings, statues, and treasures for the afterlife. For the first time, Egypt had built a monument not just to a king, but to the idea of eternity. The birth of a pyramid tradition. The Step Pyramid sparked the revolution. Other pharaohs wanted their own eternal monuments, but early attempts often failed. Pyramids collapsed or cracked under their own weight. Still, the dream continued. By the time of the fourth dynasty, Egyptian engineers had perfected the art of pyramid building, and with it came the most famous monuments in the world, the Great Pyramids of Giza. Music rises, dramatic tone. But before we walk among the giants of Giza, we must first ask, why pyramids? To the Egyptians, the pyramid shapes symbolized the rays of the sun. Each side slanted upward, reaching towards the heavens, guiding the pharaoh's soul to the sky. The pyramid was not just a tomb, it was a stairway to eternity. By the fourth dynasty of ancient Egypt, pyramid building had reached its golden age. The dream that began with Djoser's Step Pyramid was now about to achieve perfection. On the Giza Plateau, just outside modern-day Cairo, 3 colossal pyramids rose against the horizon. These were not simple tombs. They were eternal kingdoms of stone, designed to house the souls of 3 mighty pharaohs: Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. Together, their monument would become one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Pharaoh Khufu and the Great Pyramid. Around 2580 BCE, Pharaoh Khufu, known to the Greeks as Cheops, ordered the construction of what would become the Great Pyramid of Giza. It was a project unlike anything the world had ever seen. Over 2.3 million blocks of limestone and granite were used, weighing between 2 to 80 tons each. The pyramid originally stood 481 feet tall, making it the tallest structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years. But how was it built? That question has puzzled humanity for centuries. The mystery of construction. Some claim the pyramids were built by slaves dragged in chains. Others whisper of alien visitors with advanced technology. But the truth, revealed by archaeology, is far more human and perhaps more impressive. Thousands of skilled workers and laborers, not slaves, built the Great Pyramid. Archaeologists have uncovered workers' villages near Giza, bakeries, breweries, and homes where laborers lived. These were teams of farmers who worked during the Nile's flooding season when fields were underwater. Building pyramids wasn't punishment, it was national service, a sacred duty to the pharaoh. Using copper chisels, wooden sledges, and ingenious ramps, these workers carved, hauled, and set stones with astonishing precision. The Great Pyramid is aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, within a fraction of a degree. Even today, with lasers and satellites, we struggle to achieve such accuracy. Inside the Great Pyramid. Within the pyramid lies a hidden world. The Grand Gallery, the King's Chamber, and the mysterious Queen's Chamber are connected by narrow shafts. Some scholars believe these shafts were symbolic passages, guiding the pharaoh's soul to the stars. One of the greatest mysteries is the so-called air shafts, narrow tunnels pointing directly toward important constellations, like Orion, associated with Osiris, the god of the afterlife. Was this coincidence, or was the pyramid built as a celestial machine, linking heaven and earth? To this day, the Great Pyramid hides secrets. In 2017, scientists using cosmic ray technology discovered a vast hidden void above the Grand Gallery, an unexplored chamber, untouched for 4,500 years. What lies within remains unknown. The Pyramid of Khufu and the Sphinx. Khufu's son, Pharaoh Khafre, continued the legacy. His pyramid, slightly smaller than his father's, still stands proudly at Giza. But Khafre added something new, a guardian unlike any other, the Great Sphinx of Giza. Carved from a single mass of limestone, this colossal statue has the body of a lion and the head of a pharaoh believed to be Khafre himself. For the ancient Egyptians, the Sphinx was a protector, watching over the necropolis, warding off enemies, and standing as a symbol of power. Yet the Sphinx itself is a riddle. Who truly built it? When exactly was it carved? Some scholars argue it is far older than Khafre, perhaps thousands of years older. Its weathered body suggests erosion from heavy rains that may not have fallen on Giza since the end of the Ice Age. Is the Sphinx even older than history remembers? The debate continues. Menkaure's Pyramid. The third pyramid belongs to Pharaoh Menkaure, grandson of Khufu. His pyramid is the smallest of the three, only about 215 feet tall. But what it lacks in size, it makes up for in elegance. Menkaure's pyramid was originally sheathed in granite casing stones, polished to a red glow under the sun. Near his pyramid, archaeologists found exquisite statues. Menkaure depicted alongside the goddess Hathor and local deities, symbols of his divine protection in the afterlife. The Giza Plateau as a whole. Together, the three pyramids of Giza form a pattern that has fascinated researchers for centuries. Some believe they are aligned with the three stars of Orion's belt. Others see a map of the Nile mirroring the Milky Way. Coincidence, or a grand design to connect Earth with the heavens? To the Egyptians, it was clear. The pyramids were stairways to the stars, eternal beacons guiding their pharaohs to immortality. As the sun sets over Giza, the pyramids glow golden against the desert sky. For over 4,500 years, they have stood, defying time, wars, and the elements. They are monuments not just of stone, but of human ambition, belief, and the eternal quest for immortality. But the story does not end here, for around these pyramids live thousands of people, workers, priests, families, whose daily lives supported the dream of eternity. And surrounding the pyramids are legends of curses, of hidden treasures and of pharaohs determined to rule even after their death. The pyramids may seem like silent tombs of stone, but behind each block lies a story, not only of kings, but of the thousands of men and women who built them. To truly understand the pyramids, we must step back into the life of ancient Egypt, to the world of the pharaoh and to the people who served him. The pharaoh, God on earth. In ancient Egypt, the pharaoh was not simply a king, he was the living embodiment of Horus, the falcon god, and the son of the sun god Ra. His words were law, his body was sacred. His duty was to maintain Ma'at, the cosmic order of truth, justice, and balance. Pharaohs like Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure were surrounded by wealth, ceremony, and worship. Each morning, priests performed rituals to honor the gods, often in the pharaoh's presence. The pharaoh wore the double crown, symbol of Upper and Lower Egypt united. To disobey the pharaoh was to disobey the gods themselves. And yet, despite their divine image, pharaohs were mortal. Their mortality is why the pyramids existed at all, to guarantee their rebirth into eternal life. The court and the nobles. Around the pharaoh was a vast network of officials, viziers, generals, priests, scribes. These men managed the kingdom, taxes, farming, trade, and the army. It was the vizier, the pharaoh's right hand, who often oversaw the construction of pyramids. Planning such a monument required not only thousands of workers, but also supplies, food, copper tools, wood, and stone quarries. Egypt's entire economy was harnessed to serve the eternal resting place of its king. The workers' village. Popular myths often say the pyramids were built by slaves in chains, but evidence tells another story. Near the Giza plateau, archaeologists discovered a workers' village. Rows of houses, large bakeries, breweries, even cattle bones for meals. These were not slave camps. They were organized communities. The pyramid builders were farmers, drafted during the Nile's flooding season when fields could not be worked. They were paid in bread, beer, and protection for their families. They lived in groups, or gangs, often with proud names like the Drunkards of Menkaure or the Friends of Khufu. Graffiti inside the pyramids show workers joking, leaving behind names of their crews. This was not forced labor, it was national service, and perhaps even an honor. Imagine the scene. Teams hauling blocks on sledges greased with water to reduce friction. Overseers shouting instructions, musicians beating drums to keep rhythm. The air filled with dust, sweat, and chants. A human symphony, building eternity. Daily life in the shadow of the pyramids. For those who lived around Giza, the pyramids were not just construction sites, they were centers of religion and community. Priests performed ceremonies to dedicate offerings to the gods. Families traded goods in the nearby markets. Children played in the shadow of the colossal stones, unaware they were living beside what would become the most famous monuments on Earth. Life was harsh but organized. The Nile gave food, the pharaoh gave purpose, and the pyramids gave hope that life extended beyond death. Legends of the pharaohs. With time, myths grew around the pyramid kings. Khufu, builder of the Great Pyramid, was remembered by later generations as a ruthless ruler. Ancient Greek historians painted him as a tyrant who forced thousands into labor. But was this propaganda or truth lost in time? Khafre, with his Sphinx, became a figure of mystery. Was he the true builder of the Sphinx, or did he merely restore an older monument? And Menkaure, though his pyramid was smaller, was remembered as a just and kind ruler, proof that greatness was not measured only in stone. But perhaps the most famous legends are those of the pyramid curses. Ancient inscriptions often warned, "Death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the pharaoh's rest." When archaeologists entered tombs in the 19th and 20th centuries, rumors spread of sudden deaths and strange illnesses. The most famous was the Curse of Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922, though Tutankhamun was buried in the Valley of the Kings, not in a pyramid. Still, the myth took root that ancient pharaohs had powers reaching beyond death. Modern science suggests bacteria and mold inside sealed tombs may have been responsible for illnesses. But for many, the idea of a curse is far more compelling. And what of treasures? For centuries, people believed the pyramids held unimaginable riches. In truth, most were robbed in antiquity. Gold, jewels, and artifacts vanished long ago. Today, the pyramids stand mostly empty. And yet, the greatest treasure they hold may be knowledge still waiting to be discovered in their hidden chambers. Narrator. Soft, reflective. The pyramids were built for eternity, yet eternity does not stand still. Over time, pyramid building declined. Pharaohs chose new burial places, hidden valleys instead of towering monuments. Egypt itself would face foreign invaders, changing dynasties and fading power. But the pyramids of Giza remained, weathered by time but unbroken, silent witnesses to the rise and fall of one of the greatest civilizations on Earth. Music rises, mysterious, dreamlike. In our next chapter, we'll uncover how pyramid building declined, how later rulers sought new ways to protect their tombs, and how modern archaeology continues to reveal secrets buried for thousands of years. For centuries, the pyramids stood as the ultimate symbols of Egyptian power. But even monuments of stone could not escape the changing tides of history. By the end of the Old Kingdom, pyramid building began to decline. The sheer cost of these colossal projects weighed heavily on Egypt's economy. Climate change, famine, and political struggles fractured the kingdom. The golden age of the pyramid was ending. Later pharaohs of the Middle Kingdom still built pyramids, but smaller and less durable. Many were made of mud brick, and over time, they crumbled back into the desert. The grandeur of Khufu's Great Pyramid was never again matched. Instead, pharaohs began searching for a new way to secure their eternal rest, away from the eyes of robbers and invaders. The Valley of the Kings. By the New Kingdom, around 1500 BCE, Egypt had abandoned pyramids altogether. Instead, pharaohs were buried in hidden tombs cut deep into the cliffs of Luxor, in a place now known as the Valley of the Kings. These tombs were secret chambers filled with painted walls, golden coffins, and treasures for the afterlife. Pharaohs like Seti I, Ramses II, and Tutankhamun rested here, far from the monumental pyramids of Giza. But even in the Valley of the Kings, tomb robbers came. The desire for gold was eternal. No matter how deep the tombs were hidden, most were plundered. Yet, despite the decline of pyramid construction, the ones already built, especially at Giza, remained, towering as eternal reminders of Egypt's glorious past. The rediscovery of ancient Egypt. Fast forward thousands of years. When the Greeks and Romans came to Egypt, they gazed in awe at the pyramids, writing stories about their mysterious builders. To them, the pyramids were already ancient, their true history fading into legend. In the Middle Ages, travelers spoke of treasures and curses. But it was not until the 19th century, during the age of archaeology, that Egypt's secrets began to unfold. Explorers mapped the pyramids, uncovered temples, and translated hieroglyphs using the Rosetta Stone. For the first time in millennia, the pharaohs spoke again. Modern discoveries. Even today, the pyramids are not done revealing their secrets. Archaeologists have found workers' villages, proving that free citizens, not slaves, built the monuments. Advanced scans using cosmic rays have revealed hidden chambers within the Great Pyramid, still unexplored. Every year, new discoveries are made. Tools, papyrus scrolls, even boats buried near the pyramids to carry the pharaohs on their journey to the afterlife. And yet, some mysteries remain. How did ancient builders achieve such precision? Did they use long, straight ramps, spirals, or something yet unknown? Were the pyramids aligned with the stars for religious reasons, or for something more cosmic? The pyramids remind us that the past is never fully uncovered. The eternal legacy. More than 4,500 years have passed since the first stone of the Great Pyramid was laid. Empires have risen and fallen. The world has changed beyond recognition, but the pyramids endure. They are the last of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still standing. They are monuments of ambition, of faith, of human genius. They are messages from the ancient past, carved in stone, pointing to the heavens. And perhaps that is the greatest mystery of all. Not how the pyramids were built, but why they still capture our imagination. Are they reminders of humanity's power, or symbols of our long